All right, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is the host of If You Smell What the Art Is Cooking, Archie Mitchell. And thank you to Nate and Aaron for joining me on the other part of the podcast here tonight. But what you are hearing now is being recorded minutes after WrestleMania 39. Night 2 went off the air. I'm joined by my Nothing But Trouble podcast mates, Jimmy the Deacon of Pain Wayne.
What's up?
Rocky Zero.
Adrenaline in my soul.
And Mr. Anthony Zero.
Hey, how you doing there?
All right. So what we're doing here is we're all kind of disgruntled, and we wanted to get our voices out on what happened at WrestleMania 39 tonight, guys. The conversation at hand is Roman Reigns is still the world heavyweight champion, the
I can't
undisputed world heavyweight
believe
champion.
Cody lost.
I'm pissed. I'm mad.
Well, all right. Listen to how we'll start this off, Archie. We'll do this
Go
on the
ahead.
fly. You start it off, and you give us your rant for a few minutes, and then we'll move
right.
down the line to Wasso, Jimmy,
All right.
and then myself. I see myself at the bottom there. And
Sounds
everybody
good.
get a little time of what they feel of the future of WWE, and we can even talk about the possible sale that might happen
Right.
tomorrow and
Exactly.
how that might
Exactly.
impact things.
All right.
So start
Well,
us off, Archie.
here goes. Has Roman Reigns did a great job as world heavyweight champion? Yes. Has Roman Reigns been a stellar world heavyweight champion? Yes. But you are now going on the 3-year mark of him as world heavyweight champion. It was announced during his entrance that he has now main evented 3 WrestleManias in a row, defending the world heavyweight and universal championship. That's ridiculous. Hulk Hogan in his heyday was barely main eventing because he was, not always the main event. He was just on the card. WrestleMania 4, he was not the main event. You know what I mean? WrestleMania 8, he was not the main event. It's ridiculous that you would let Roman Reigns do this. But then, after all the buildup that you had with Cody Rhodes, finishing the story, his dad never won it. His children and -1 Brody Lee's son is at ringside. He's put all his heart into it, and then you let us all down by letting Roman Reigns win, but also win dirty. He couldn't even beat him clean. How do you expect us to feel? And I get it, the shock value, the awe, the okay, we don't know what's about to happen next. But honestly and truthfully, who the hell is left on that roster to put against Roman Reigns now? Whether it be at SummerSlam, Backlash, or any pay-per-view. Are we really relying on the hopes that The Rock is going to come back again, but now at 40 and maybe challenge Roman Reigns? And then what? He's a part-timer who wouldn't be there to defend the title.
40.
So
he's 50.
No, at WrestleMania 40 is what I'm saying. It just makes no sense. You know what I mean? You took all the air out of the arena, and I'm gonna say it. WrestleMania Night 1 was fantastic. It was one of the best WrestleManias I've ever watched.
I give it a great pay-per-view.
Yeah, but then you have
Great pay-per-view.
WrestleMania Night 2 of 39, and it's horrible. It's like 2 different people booked those shows. It was like 2 different WrestleManias. It sucked, Night 2. It was bad. Every match felt forced. Every match felt like filler. The stuff with Shane McMahon would have been great if he didn't get injured. You know what I mean? Okay, the IC title match was great between Gunther and Walter and Sheamus, but then the Bianca Belair match in Asuka was horrible. The women's tag match was horrible. The Hell in a Cell match was okay, but it was by far a dull Hell in a Cell. And now we get to our main event. We're like, yeah, Cody's going to win. And there's Vince McMahon and Triple H with the middle finger going, nope, fuck you. That's all I got. I'm not going to go on and on anymore. I'm devastated.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up, Jimmy? You take over next. Give us your take for a couple of minutes, and then we'll all just jump in there and just let it flow after that. What's up?
I don't know. I hate being this wrestling fan to complain, but it's because I know it's corny, but it's just so dumb for me the way they do this. It's just you bring in Cody, he wins the Rumble, he's white hot, and then just to have him lose to Roman Reigns, so Roman gets to 1,000 days. It's pretty ridiculous. And then, All right, Hogan. Never mind Hogan. Let's go over to Cena. Cena was the poster boy. Cena made them money hand over foot with the kids, and he was every kid's superhero. And God bless him, he's done 600 Make a Wishes. They never did this with Cena. Cena never had a 1,000 day run.
Right.
Cena never defended the title 3 years in a row. Look at a guy like Bret Hart. He was at the main event 9, 10, and 12. He lost two of those matches. Shawn Michaels main evented 11, 12, and 14. Lost two out of the three. The Edge and Finn Balor match was fun. I was really annoying when they had to stop the match when we had a little bit of paint, but whatever. It was an entertaining match, but I don't know. This Roman Reigns thing is it's ridiculous. I don't get it. Is Roman as a heel making them that much money? Is he drawing that much? Like, I don't
The
know. I don't
the
get it.
the, the Nielsen ratings wouldn't suggest that, but that's another point to be made.
I don't, are they just being stubborn? Like, I don't, and then it's really dumb when I think, okay, so why wasn't Roman the guy to break the WrestleMania Taker streak? Why was it Brock? Like,
Right.
at least it should have been Roman. Well, he's the new Bruno San Martino at this point. So
Well, he
why?
wasn't a fair statement. Not to cut you off for a second. He wasn't ready yet. He wasn't. He just wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, but you think that they didn't know he was going to be the guy? So let Taker beat Brock that year. How many matches after
Too later.
after
Too later.
Brock?
After Brock, he beat Punk, and then he lost to Roman.
Okay, but after Brock, how many Mania matches did he have?
Well,
He beat Punk.
Undertaker. No, he beat Punk, then lost the next year to Lesnar, then
Yeah,
beat Bray Wyatt. Then the year after that, he lost to Roman Reigns. Did I get
Right.
that in order?
Yeah, and then he beat John Cena in that squash match, and
Hmm.
that was it. So he had
that's my point.
three other matches after
They
Lesnar.
they could have held off and just waited for Roman to be the guy to break the streak.
Right.
But whatever.
Jimmy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here waiting for my
Okay.
brother to finish, and then I'm gonna put my rant on.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jimmy. The mic is yours.
I want to begin with I'm tired of wrestlers shoved down our throat. This guy's been shoved down our throat since 31, WrestleMania 31.
Yep.
That's going 8 years now. He finally became a heel. Okay, great. That's good. Put him with Paul Heyman. Took you 5 years to finally get Roman Reigns. Now you have to put both belts on him. Both belts on him. Now where are we going here? Now who could we really uh in the roster currently that's going to beat him? You wanted to get the 1,000. You are clearly going for at least 1,000 days. But my problem with this streak going on is you have both belts on him. You can't develop someone new or give them a title run or a reign. It's only Roman. It came to a point where I said this to you guys earlier. If Hulk Hogan and John Cena had a baby, it's Roman Reigns.
And I agree.
Good
That was
point.
an incredible,
It
incredible theory.
really pisses me off. It
And
was.
the mother was Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah, the mother's always Vince McMahon. She's Mother Earth of WWE. I don't know. So basically, what I feel is going to happen at either way, it's they painted themselves in a corner.
A big
So
one.
you're going to give us at most SummerSlam. He's going to lose. He's going to become a babyface, and then WrestleMania 40, you're going to expect him to get the title back as a babyface, and then he's
Right.
shoved down our throats from there on to get a babyface run up with the title. Get the fuck out of here.
No, he's main eventing Mania as champion next year. It makes no sense for him to lose it at
Okay, now
SummerSlam to who?
what
To
I
me?
want to bring up, I want to ask everybody before you go, Ange, or if you
Okay.
want to add it to your point, you could start it off too.
No, no,
Then
no. I'll answer your question.
who should be the guy then to end this? Eventually, it's going to have to come down to someone. Who's going to be the guy?
If it's not Cody, then it should be Gunther. And I hate calling him that because his real name is Walter, but it has to be Gunther because he's the strongest and toughest on the roster that they've built up.
Rocky.
If not Cody, I guess Gunther.
I'm at a point where I don't even give a shit anymore. That's how nervous
Right.
I
Right.
am.
Oh,
Angelo, take it.
Oh, well, let me answer who. Okay, I'm gonna give you fantasy booking for a second before I get into my spiel. But
Okay.
this is the guy that I feel will take it because I know how the wrestling industry works as of lately. And my take is the guy that will uncrown Roman Reigns, and you'll say, wow, he really didn't need to crown up Roman Reigns. How the hell did that happen? Randy Orton.
Damn, that would be bad.
Randy Orton. Randy Orton comes back white hot, comes in a streak, and eventually takes it off. And your main event at WrestleMania 40 is Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. Whoa. Whoa, that just happened, gentlemen.
Well, guess
Now.
what? Ange?
Look,
Hold on.
listen.
Before you go into your rant, hold on, though. If that's happening, if that's the book, I'm not going with you to WrestleMania next year. I'm not going.
Now, if I was fantasy booking, this is what I would do. And people will say I'm crazy and they'll leave comments and they'll say this, but this is the way that you build a superstar. Braun Breaker. You bring him tomorrow night to the main roster. He works up by SummerSlam. I've been saying this. How long have I been saying this to you, Archie? How long have I been saying this to you?
Since about
Since
6
about
months.
since about 6 months a year.
Yep.
By
Yep.
SummerSlam, he should have the title off of Gunther. He should be
Yep.
the Intercontinental Champion by SummerSlam. That is my prediction for Braun Breaker. Now, I would build him up, make him as strong as possible, put a rocket on his back, and shoot him straight to the moon. He has the size, he has the look, he has the wrestling ability. His mic skills are a little bit flat right now, but I think we can get there. I think we could build him up. He's
If they
still
turn
really
him
young.
into a Scott Steiner and you let him just go loose, yeah.
Win the Royal Rumble. Go to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia and take the title off them. That's if I was fantasy booking. If I had it my way and I was running a company, and I would see how this kid works. This kid, I think, is ready. He's ready to go forward. Now I will start my rant. My rant is very simple. We have to forget about Hulk Hogan. The Hulk Hogan era was the touring era, was the what was it called when there was different promotions all over the territory era.
Yes.
Territory area. So Hulk Hogan having the belt on him was, we trust Hulk Hogan to be our champion. We don't trust such and such guy because he came from this other territory, and Hulk Hogan's not going to screw us over. That's why Hulk Hogan had the belt on him so long. We are not in the territory era. We are out of the territory era forever.
I agree.
Now, my point is, you have your Bret Harts, you have your Shawn Michaels, you have your Steve Austins, and you had your guys. Now, look at that crop from the Attitude Era. How good of a crop of wrestlers was The Undertaker. Throw a Sid Vicious in there. Beautiful crop of wrestlers. Okay, now you move forward to Kurt Angle. You move forward to The Rock. You move forward to Steve Austin. Bam. You move forward to, Chris Benoit. You move forward to Shawn Michaels, Triple H. You move forward. Look at Eddie Guerrero. Look how deep those
Jericho.
talent pools were. Now,
Right.
let me get to the not so recent guys, and I'm trying to make a valid point here for you
Go ahead.
guys to understand this. The not so recent future, you had guys like Sheamus as the champion. You had Jericho had a little bit of a reign as champion. I'm talking about the second half of his career. You had guys, you had bullshit guys on SmackDown, the Jack Swaggers. Unfortunately, Rey Mysterio's at that time. You had Khali as the champion.
Yeah.
Okay,
man.
that was bad.
Mark Henry.
But then, right. But then you always had the main champions, which was the big three, in my opinion. Edge, Randy Orton, John Cena. And it would go back and forth. There was three main stable superstars. Now, you had
Now, how
you
many
move forward
belts
to the
did you
second.
have, though? My
You had two.
argument,
There was
two
two.
You had
belts.
two. You had two, but one of the belts always mattered because it was on one of those guys. That is my point.
100%.
So now let me move forward to this argument. Okay, you moved to the third quarter, let's say, of John Cena's career. Maybe fourth quarter, whatever, however you want to say it. Randy Orton, Edge was gone. You had Brock Lesnar. Okay, those were your guys. You were building Seth Rollins. You were building
You had Punk at
Roman
the time.
Reigns. You had Punk at the time. You had a crop. You had Daniel Bryan at the time.
Daniel Bryan, yeah.
Now, look at the good talent pool. Now, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to the last 4 years. Let's fast forward. Definitively, I have a question for you guys. Who was the number 2 best wrestler? Number 2 best superstar wrestler
In WWE right now?
in WWE right now?
In
Daniel
the
Bryan.
last 3 years?
No. Now, today, 2023.
I
Drew
like Seth
McIntyre.
Rollins.
Seth Rollins,
KO.
Drew
Me,
McIntyre.
personal KO.
Seth
KO.
Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
KO Seth Rollins,
I
right?
like Seth Rollins. And
But
KO.
let me ask you, okay, so they're the number 2 guys. Would you put Seth Rollins, okay, you put him in that mountain with those guys, right? But they've done him and Roman Reigns 100 times.
But
It's
guess
not
what, though?
it's
And-
not fresh. It's not fresh. Let me finish. Let me finish my rant.
Sorry.
You've done that 100 times. So you don't have a new, fresh top feud for him to work with. That's why he's the champion. He is number 1 because there is no definitive number 2. There was a definitive number 2 with John Cena. There was a definitive number 2 with Hulk Hogan. There was a definitive number 2 with Bret Hart. There was a definitive number 2 with Steve Austin. You get the point that I'm trying to make. This is the worst developmental talent pool of wrestling I've ever
agree.
seen in my entire life. We
You
have
know-
not built a fucking superstar in the last 5 years. Who was the last young fucking superstar that was built in the last 5 years? Tell me, because I'm dying to know. Because
KO
okay,
for
you
1
brought
year.
KO, Finn Balor.
Okay, KO and Finn Balor. They came from Japan. Everybody knew who the hell they were. Who
Right.
came out of their developmental system?
No
Tell
one.
me this guy.
No
okay. The
No,
last
you're right.
guy that came out was Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins.
Dean
Even Seth
Ambrose.
Rollins, okay, you knew he was you really didn't know who he was that serious unless you were a super duper duper hardcore
Right.
a guy with Ring of Honor, but it wasn't that big at the time. It wasn't. But you knew, what was his name? Tyler Black?
Yep.
Okay. The point I'm trying to make is I've been saying this to Archie for years now. Where is the build superstar to be built to produce the future of a young talent that's 27, 28? Because we did this before. We were building guys like Sheamus. They built guys like Jack Swagger. They built guys that were coming up. Okay, you had a
but
veteran
guess what, though,
guys.
Ange? They would always get fed to Cena. So they didn't build no one because they would just feed them to Cena.
Not necessarily, because I mean, they was on the other brands at that time. There was Cena. Yes, Cena had the golden shovel, but Cena wasn't this dominant, guys. This is the most dominant champion I've ever seen, and especially the non-territorial era. And you realize, guys, how long has AEW been around, Archie?
4 years.
4 years. In
It's been
that
that long?
in that 4-year reign, He was before that. He was dominating with one promotion.
Yep.
Guys, we've got to give him all the credit in the world. We have to give. He is the only franchise. He sells the most merchandise. He draws the most people. Now, let me ask you guys a question, and I'll finish my rant with this. Now, you are going to tune in to see Roman Reigns lose. Am I correct?
We hope so. Yes.
Uh,
Eh.
I have no choice. I have
Okay,
no
you have
choice.
no
It's
choice.
highway robbery, I feel. I have no choice.
Okay, so hence my point. He got you. He got you to tune in and give the WWE their viewership because now, after so many years, you will tune in to see if this is the night that Roman Reigns loses. For the next 12 pay-per-views until WrestleMania, you will tune in every main event that Roman Reigns is in there to see is this the night he loses the championship?
I'm getting
I
stuff. They
know.
got to give us some kind of reward. I don't think they are. I really, really don't think they are.
All right.
I'll tell you what they need to do. But it's not going to happen. They need to drop the World Heavyweight title, the WWE World Heavyweight title off of him.
Listen, me and you have been crying about this for months now. We've come up with every scenario, which way, me, you, and Archie, Sonny, what to take this belt, one of the belts off, and we came up with some beautiful scenarios. Go over those scenarios for them, Jimmy.
Yep.
Tell the people at home the beautiful booking and scenarios you came up with.
I came up with no. Archie came up with the best one. I came up with one of someone representing the USA Network coming and saying that we haven't had a world champion defended on Raw in so and so months, so we're stripping him and we want a world heavyweight title. Just strip him. It saves him clean. He's never been pinned. You could have done it. If Cody Rhodes would have won tonight, Archie, tell him your
My idea was Cody wins it, and he's holding up both belts to end the show. It's a feel-good moment. And then you go to Monday Night Raw, and the first face and voice you hear is Paul Heyman. He walks out with a contract in hand, and he says, this contract states that the winner of the Royal Rumble gets a shot at the World Heavyweight title, not the Undisputed Heavyweight title, not the Universal title. So Cody Rhodes, you may be the World Heavyweight Champion, but that blue Universal title goes back to Roman Reigns. Now, that's the title Roman has held for 945 days. So keep that belt. That's the belt he's got the record with.
I could live with that.
And now you've split up the titles, and it makes the most sense.
And then how about this? Let's do it this way. You have him, try to you have him do another match with Roman Reigns, and you have a bullshit hoping finish of a draw, double count out,
right,
interference or whatever, and they just part ways from there.
Right. Never to be touched again. Never for them to ever be in each other's faces.
And you bring somebody in to start a feud with. But like, for instance, this is my question now. Now that Cody Rhodes, was this the beginning of the end or the beginning of the starting?
According to Triple H at the press conference, he said, tune in tomorrow night on Raw because this is just the beginning of Cody Rhodes' story. It's not over. But, I mean, that could mean anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it means a six-way tag team match. The Usos and their brother versus KO, Sammy, and
yeah, that's at Backlash. That's lock it up.
Oh, and guaranteed when they do that match, Jimmy and guys, it's going to turn into KO and Sammy's tag titles on the line and Roman's world titles on the line, and this way when Cody loses again, KO and Sammy could lose the tag titles and everybody will be pissed at Cody.
Oh no! You just said a good no. No, guess what? Roman's not even going to be in that 6-man tag. It's going to be the Usos' brother.
Wow, you're right.
Oh, you might be right about that.
Yeah, Roman's not even going to be in Backlash to defend the
he doesn't have to. He doesn't actually have to even be anywhere near a match for 60 days.
That's how shittier it's going to be.
You put all three of the Uso boys versus
yeah. And if Cody wins, if Cody wins, he gets another shot.
Wow.
I promise you, Cody Rhodes will have a bullshit IC run and then maybe leave.
Or do they
Again.
introduce a whole new world title tomorrow and call Roman Reigns just the Universal Champion on SmackDown and
All
get
right.
rid of the other title?
How do you get rid of the prestigious belt that Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund,
Yeah,
Bret the
see, that's
Hitman
what.
Hart, Shawn Michaels
Look,
all had?
Angela, I agree with your statement during your rant, but you said we have to forget about Hulk Hogan. I'm fine with that, but you're telling me that he is now in the upper echelon. Roman Reigns' reign is there with Bruno and Hogan, so they're
No,
not letting us forget it. You know,
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. There's records like, let me give you a record in baseball, for instance. There's Ty Cobb's having the most career wins. It's never going
right,
to happen for a pitcher because he would pitch every single day. Do you
right,
understand? He would pitch. So, okay, a pitcher pitches 30 games a season now. It's never going to happen. No
right.
one's going to come close to it. Okay? The point I'm trying to say is the, the longevity a person has to have in wrestling and the point of an owner of the promotion saying, well, I'm afraid that this guy might walk away with my title and go to another promotion. That's not happening. You're under contract now.
Right.
There's
You're
no
right about
fear
that.
for it. There's no fear for me saying, well, you know what? I want to try a different thing today, and I want to try this today. It's not. There's no fear in it. We could keep it on him for forever, and he's under contract.
Can
He's
I
not going nowhere else.
Boys,
can I
this is
be
why I stopped watching wrestling years ago.
all right, I'm gonna be devil's advocate if I'm saying it right. Do we
Mhm.
really let's really look at the signs. They warned us. Number one, Cody beat why can't I think of the Usos
Solo,
brothers?
Solo
Solo.
Sokoa.
Okay. So he beat that streak. So Cody, you're still good. Now let's look at the booking. Cody went after Triple H when he went to AEW,
What
broke a
does that
throne,
mean?
broke a throne, a chair, constantly talked bad about him, came back to WWE. I don't blame Triple H's ego. So let me get this straight. The guy that we built up for the past 7 years, 3 years holding the title, we're going to give it to this guy who started his own promotion and give us competition and took all our wrestlers, our
I'm gonna
young,
say,
talented.
In the
can I
words of SpongeBob SquarePants, no, excuse me, in the words of Mr. Krabs, the money's always right, SpongeBob.
can I chime in for a second, Jimmy? I feel Cody Rhodes knew last year he wasn't winning the title from Roman Reigns. Is that a bold statement, Archie?
It's a possibility, but the way you always hear them say, "Well, we went back and forth, we had to change it on the fly." I
I don't
honestly
think
feel
they
it's
were
because
changing shit.
I feel. See, I like where Jimmy's head is because it is a very good fantasy booking thing of triple. This was Triple H's "fuck you" to Cody, but we're all forgetting that Vince McMahon showed up at the Hall of Fame sporting a new mustache on
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, and apparently he's back as one of the heads of the company again. So I think this was Vince McMahon at the last minute going, no, we're not putting it on Cody. It stays on Roman, pal. It's such good shit. And that was the end of it.
Well, you said fantasy booking. So let's start it off. I gave you, and let's go down the roll of how I would fantasy book WrestleMania. How would you fantasy book WrestleMania, Archie? For WrestleMania
Tonight
40.
for 40,
For WrestleMania 40.
if Roman still has the goddamn title,
He
I
has the
would build
title.
up, I would either build up Braun Breaker or
Mm-hmm.
Gunther to run through everybody all year long. You let Roman defend the title sparingly here and there so he looks like a chicken champion. You understand? And he keeps racking up the days. And finally, when you get to WrestleMania, he fights either Braun Breaker or Gunther, and finally loses. But by then, he'll be at almost 1,700 days. So of course they're going to say he'll be at almost 1,400 days. So of course they're going to say, well, fuck it, we're going to leave it on him to get it to 1,500. So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, truthfully, it's booking yourself in a corner constantly because the more you get closer to the numbers, is the more you say, well, hey, he's had it this long and they're still watching, you know.
Jimmy,
So
what would you say? How would you fantasy book WrestleMania in Philadelphia next year? Jimmy,
Jimmy. Oh, he actually. Hold on. Got to bring him back in. He conked out. There you are.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. All right, what was the question? How would I book
The question:
WrestleMania 40?
how would you book WrestleMania 40? You're the booker. Roman Reigns is still the champion. What are you doing?
I don't think I want to see Cody rematch. I don't think so. You know what? Give me real fantasy. Give me
Jimmy, anything you want to do, you are the booker.
okay. Give me MJF coming to WWE. He signs the
That's
contract.
that's a little too
Far fetched.
fantasy.
No, I
That's
know.
a
Hear
little
me
too.
out.
All right, give me your MJF one, but give me someone then who's on the actual roster
Okay,
after that.
our real fantasy MJF, and he loses to Roman, and let Roman have it for another 2,000. Real talk right now. Gunter, book Gunter. Shoot him to the stars because he had an impressive triple threat match just now.
Ooh, excuse
He
me.
was second. God bless you. He was right second before to be eliminated in the Royal Rumble, and that always means something. Sometimes.
Okay.
I think book him. Braun
Ooh,
Breaker. I can see
excuse me.
that right away from next year to book him to win. That's too fast. I think in 2-3 years I could see Braun Breaker being big.
Braun Breaker is going to get a shot. I'm calling it right now with Braun Breaker. He will have the Intercontinental Champion by SummerSlam. He will have the Intercontinental Championship on him off of Gunter. He's not going to debut tomorrow night on Raw. He's going to debut on SmackDown
You
because
may be
He
that's where
right.
is.
Gunter is, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Who is supposed to do Jay Lethal or no? What's his name?
Jay Lethal.
No, someone's supposed to debut for WWE. I forgot.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Someone they were saying is supposed to debut night after WrestleMania. Some indie guy from New Japan Wrestling that they
Oh,
signed.
Oh,
Dragon
Jay
Lee.
White.
Jay White.
Jay
I'm
White.
sorry,
Yeah, they're
Jay
talking
White.
about Jay White, but he ain't big enough to fight Roman.
No, I don't think
No.
that's gonna be. There's no shock. There's nobody like you said, Ange, built up that could. They all right. They KO. He beat 3 times already. Uh,
Matt Riddle,
Sami
Randy
Zayn.
Orton, Sami Zayn. Who else did he
Sami
beat?
Zayn. That ship sailed. It's done with. They got the tag titles. That was it.
Rocky,
Uh,
after he's done, think of an idea of who you think, how you would fantasy book wrestling. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Go ahead, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
there's nobody on this current roster that I could think of, and nobody that serious in NXT either. The only thing I could hope for, again, I'm gonna say because I'm a broken fucking record, strip the WWE title off of him, and book, make not Sheamus, whatchamacallit, big again, and let them have the title, have the second best title. Guys
And who are
like KO, Sammy. Why am I having a brain fart? What's his name that won the title for 2020? Drew
Drew
McIntyre.
McIntyre.
Thank you.
Yeah, but see there, but by that standard, you paint yourself into the corner because just like in boxing, when you take a title off somebody when they got to get stripped or whatever, now you're a paper champion, and someone will always say, "Oh, well, you never beat so and so." So now you got to
I
go back to a
agree.
unification match between those two guys to see if he could actually beat Roman Reigns.
I don't know
That
I
what
you
Vince
know.
agree.
McMahon was smoking when I gotta make WrestleMania 38 more interesting. So I'm gonna put Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and let Roman have both the fucking belts. That's good shit.
Yeah, well, go ahead, Rock. It's on you.
It's one of two. As crazy as it sounds, I would have Cody win the Rumble again.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my
All
god.
right, all right. Go
Main
go on.
main event mania and still continue with that he's gotta finish the story bullshit. Or as ridiculous as this would sound, You brought back the demon after 4 years. You know what? Give Finn Balor a shot. Bring the demon out once every 3 months. Have him win the Rumble as the demon, and then have him go to Mania.
He's in Finn Balor right now is in shitty stable hell. That's
Yep.
what I would like to call him. Shitty
Yep.
stable
I
hell
said,
network.
as crazy as it sounds, give it a shot. Look, I love KO, but KO is just not that guy.
No, he's not that guy.
So it would be one of two. Either you give the demon a shot, or fucking do Cody and Roman too.
Now, we keep forgetting about the lion in the bathroom from The Hangover.
Hmm.
The Tiger.
The tiger in the bathroom. Is it the worst thing in the world? WrestleMania 40, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns.
No, it's not.
I think Seth Rollins is gonna honestly be the one. An honest prediction. I do feel like it's gonna be Rollins.
When?
WrestleMania,
Probably next year.
because all right, this is how I would rank it. This is if I had to do a ranking system, I would probably rank a guy like Randy Orton number one for the main event with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Then I'd put Seth Rollins number two. Then my wish, okay, we'll see how Braun Breaker does on the main roster, number three. That would be my ranking of the three superstars that I think will work WrestleMania 40 with Roman Reigns.
I think reality it's gonna end up being Seth. Like
All
our
right.
fantasy booking, but if you ask for a prediction, I think it's gonna end up being Seth.
All right,
Yeah.
I got one more. I got one more. It's very realistic. All right. Put a guy to the company that was Roman Reigns before Roman Reigns was Roman Reigns. Let him beat Ric Flair's record too at the same time at WrestleMania in Philadelphia.
You're
Just give it to
serious?
fucking John Cena. Let him. I
Look,
created.
so wait,
I am
wait.
Frankenstein's monster. I am the
He
creator.
beat,
I'm going
but
to
wait a
kill
minute.
him.
Roman beat him already once, and he just lost to
Yeah.
Austin Theory.
Yeah, you know what?
He
That ship
passed
has
the torch to
sailed.
Austin Theory.
He's
That ship has
fucking
sailed.
John. I could accept that.
Well,
I
then
could
fuck it. We
accept
might as
that.
well we might as well raise Macho Man Randy Savage from the grave and let him beat Roman
No,
Reigns.
that's not realistic, Arch. Okay.
Why not?
I mean, it could be Bret Hart.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Put miserable Bret Hart against him so he could bitch how he almost injured him 20 times afterwards.
You know, your friend Seth Rollins injured a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, talking about Cena, you brought up a good point about Cena. You see,
Who deserves to beat Roman?
but listen. This is how I critique John Cena's career. His starting, his middle, and his kind of right now where he is, his transition Hollywood. And I kind of compare it to like Hulk Hogan's career in the aspect of, okay, he started off as the bad guy. Then he worked his way to the super mega baby face. Then he was the dwindling down super mega baby face. We still haven't seen the bad guy heel John Cena yet.
It's never
And
happening.
I think
It's never gonna
when
happen.
John,
Never happened.
let me finish for a second because I'm mind melting here. If John Cena was to say to himself, you know what, I'm done with Hollywood for a little while. I'm going to be consistent and I want to work back on the roster for a good 2 years, 3 years, and I'm going to turn heel. And I'm going to part-time act and full-time wrestling, if that makes any sense what I just said. And I'm going to be the Hulk Hogan NWO bad guy. Now that would be, we've never seen John Cena as the bad guy. Now that could do something different, that's fresh, that's new, it's not been seen. And maybe a bad guy John Cena could be so over that he could beat a guy like Roman Reigns. That's the only way I could see it possibly happening, the way Jimmy's saying it.
You know what makes me laugh about John Cena? He waited till he started balding to grow hair.
Right,
Good point.
right. If he
Right.
still had his head shaved on the side, you wouldn't be able to tell. I
Like, do
agree.
you? Okay, they brought back a joke version of the LWO, but do you think they could reform a new NWO? Real
No,
talk, Archie.
no, I don't think it's been done so many times, but different ways that it would just
But it
be
hasn't been
overkill
done.
now.
It hasn't been done in like 20 years.
Well, I mean, there's always some form of an NWO. I think Ray bringing back the LWO was strictly to, talk about Eddie because the last time Eddie was at Mania was WrestleMania, goes Hollywood the last time, and it was just to pay homage. I don't think we'll see that much out of the LWO from here on out. But as far, I
Right,
mean, I
I
wouldn't,
agree.
I wouldn't be against an NWO, a new NWO with a Cena or anybody like that as the leader. But I just think it's been done to death, and even though it hasn't been done in a while, it really wouldn't get the kind of steam we're hoping for. You know what I mean?
Imagine
So
if you were to recreate an NWO, which are two big stable members of the old riddled veterans. Now, you put in John Cena and Randy Orton. Now, I can't think of a third. Who would the old riddled third veteran be?
Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
No, you
No,
need a
doesn't
young
even
guy. You
work.
need a
He's
young
doesn't
guy to
work.
Oh,
even
That could
guys
still
the
from
wrestle.
guys from their time period.
Yeah,
CM
that could still wrestle.
Brock,
Punk.
Rock,
No, The Rock
maybe
is not on there.
Lashley. No, not
You
Rock.
want to hear
Brock.
something?
I'm saying Brock Lesnar.
Rocky, you just threw a really big curveball there.
You
CM
think
Punk
I'm
in an
joking?
NWO, CM Punk in an NWO situation with John Cena and Randy Orton would be pretty intense.
All right,
It
I'm
would
going to
be
put my.
weird.
Do you think it's possible,
I would love it.
considering Punk's AEW contract is a little bit weird with the company? Do you have Punk come at Mania, Philadelphia, and he's the
Never
one to
happened.
dethrone
Never
Roman
happened.
Reigns?
No,
Never
no,
I'm
happened.
currently
and
wearing a CM Punk shirt, by the way, right now as we speak. Just want
Nice,
to throw that
no,
out
nice.
and
there.
and the Philadelphia crowd would probably eat Punk alive.
No,
Ah,
I think a Philadelphia crowd would lose their shit.
He's from Chicago, guys, and anytime he's ever
It
been in
doesn't matter.
Philadelphia,
ECW
Philadelphia
anytime
is
he's
though.
a it's an
anytime he's been
indie
in Philadelphia, he's
wrestling.
been yelled at. He's been screamed at and thrown at and done. But I mean, hey, and you never can tell in this business. That's the weird part about it. As I get older, I always realize that the saying "never say never" in the WWE. Only now it hurts my feelings.
Yep.
It's not the same. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for listening to our rants about Roman Reigns keeping the title. Again, I want to thank Nate and Aaron for joining me on the first part of this show where we talked about all things WrestleMania. Guys, before we go, as a whole, give me a from 1 to 10 how you thought WrestleMania was. Jimmy Wayne, from 1 to 10, how was WrestleMania both nights as a whole?
First night 10. Tonight a 0, so I'll give it a 5.
Okay, Rocky.
I agree.
All right, a 5 from Rocky as well. Angelo.
Can I give a quick review?
Yeah.
Okay. Night one, I thought every match was very, very, very good. I had no complaints with the Cena Theory match.
Nope.
I had no complaints with. I had no complaints even with the tag team match, the showcase match. I thought
Right.
that was actually a halfway decent match
That was
too.
fantastic.
Definitely.
I had no complaints with. Help me out if I'm forgetting any matches that was on there.
Rhea
What else was on
Ripley
there?
was a great match.
Rhea
Rhea
Ripley.
Ripley and
With
Charlotte
I
Charlotte
stole
think
the
Flair.
damn show.
I think it was one of the best women's matches you'll ever see.
Yep.
The Sami Zayn match stole the show in my heart. I think that was one of the best tag
was the
team
best
matches
match.
I've ever seen.
That was the best match.
Period. And what other match am I forgetting, Archie?
Excuse me, the Miz and that Miz and Pat McAfee throw together match.
Oh my god.
What else was there? Trying to think. There was a couple other matches there.
Go through the
Uh,
list.
I'd have to find a list.
Okay. I'm trying
But
Overall, night 1 was fantastic.
yes,
Overall, okay, how am I rating it? Am I rating it from 1 to 10 or 1 to 5?
1 to 10. 1 to 10.
1 to 10, I give WrestleMania Night 1 a strong 8 or 9.
Okay.
And I give Night 2 You know, the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns match was great,
Yes.
but that was the only really good match because I'm going to say something. I think the Hell in the Cell match was lackluster.
Dull.
It was. I mean, Sonny said it best. There was a schoolboy in the match, really, in the Hell in the Cell. I'm
Right.
trying to
That
kill
was
you.
ridiculous. That was a
I'm trying
botch.
to kill you, but I got a Hell in the Cell. So,
I need to win.
Okay.
I'm trying to win.
The Asuka versus Bianca Belair
Horrible.
match
Horrible.
was terrible. I don't know
Raunchy.
what they were doing throwing that match together. They had no chemistry.
None.
It was terrible.
The women's tag
it
match
was
was
that-
bad too. That women's 4-way tag match they had was horrible.
Right. The women's match was like, really? And Ronda Rousey, I was talking about Ronda Rousey. She lost everything. She has no fire. She
Well,
has no juice.
the reason
She's just
she
a
didn't
run-of-the-mill superstar at this point.
The reason she didn't get in the match as a whole is because she is injured, but they still wanted to put her on the show. I don't know why. So that's
The
why she only
Omos-
came in.
The Omos versus Brock Lesnar was everything you thought it was going to be, a squash match. It was 5 minutes and 20.
But Brock
seconds.
actually made Omos look believable, though. At least he made him look powerful.
Right. And then the Shane McMahon blunder was just, oh my God, that was like, really?
I'm
I
curious,
mean,
what were
that
they
was your
going
big
for?
supply. That was your big surprise for night 2. I hate to say it. Nobody gives a shit about Shane McMahon. I said it.
Right.
I said
Unless
it.
he's going to walk out tomorrow and say he bought WWE. And even then, it wouldn't really make anybody go, ooh, you know what I mean?
You know, so I guess my rating of night. What did I say my rating was again? Maybe
Solid
A
8
10
for
of
night
one, an
one.
8 for
Oh,
1.
no. I said night
Solid
1
8.
was an 8, and then night 2. I'm gonna say night 2 was a 6, 5, maybe a 6 because I guess a 6 because of the Roman Reigns match. That was the only really good match in Cody Rhodes that I really compelled me.
Right.
For the match,
Well,
that really, wow.
So you give it a 7 overall then?
So yeah, I give both nights WrestleMania about a 7. I would give.
Artie?
I think it was a
on my end, night 1 was fantastic, and the only thing I took out of night 2 was the Intercontinental title match, the triple threat between Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther, and the main event. But then the main event had the shitty ending, so I'd give night 1 a solid 10 all the way around. I enjoyed every match. I had nothing made me bored or disgusted or anything. Night 2 though, it was like filler. Everything was a filler match on Monday Night Raw, except for the main event and the Intercontinental title match. I'd give night 2 a 3. So I'm giving it around a 4 or 5 total grade, the same way you guys did.
Sounds about right.
This was night 2 made this a mid WrestleMania for me. Where if they would have stayed on the course of night 1, I would have said, "Wow, this is one of the best WrestleManias we ever had."
Just give us the payoff. Give us the payoff.
Quick question for everybody.
Yes.
Starting with Archie, how would
Yes.
you look back at this WrestleMania 10 years from now?
Slightly forgettable.
Wasted opportunity.
Same way. Remember when Lex Luger lost to Yokozuna at SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Same way.
Rocky, how do you think you'll remember this WrestleMania 10 years from now?
I'm over it right now. So. A big shit.
How I'll remember this WrestleMania 10 years from now is I'll say to myself, wow, that Sami Zayn versus the Uso match was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. And I've been watching wrestling all my life. And the Rhea Ripley was one of the better matches, but the night 2 was very forgettable.
Yes.
Extremely forgettable. I think I will look back and I will say, oh my God, Omos fought Brock Lesnar at that match?
Right.
Ronda Rousey was in a bullshit tag team match? What the hell was going on that year?
You ready for the backfire 10 years from now? Man, we didn't appreciate Roman Reigns when we were supposed to. I can't stand this Austin Theory. I hate Austin Theory's guts. 4 WrestleManias in a row. Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, you just said a name, Austin Theory. What's the shot of Austin Theory getting catapulted, winning the Royal Rumble, and being the guy?
No, not ready yet.
No, right?
Not my WrestleMania.
Not ready yet. Still
Not
too green.
ready.
If you're still making mistakes in matches, you can't be a world heavyweight champion.
Boys, what I'm going to say is this: my laundry is done, and I'll say good night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to If You Smell What the Art Is Cooking. As always, we will see you next week, and make sure that you tune in to the Nothing But Trouble podcast, because this week we're going to be talking about what did we talk about this week on Nothing But Trouble, guys? Yes,
Well,
viewer, listeners, mailbag. You guys
Yes.
asked the questions, we gave you the answers. So in a
mhm.
couple weeks, we're going to be starting our Star Wars 2-part series. So have a great night, and I'll see you next time on If You Smell What the Arch Is